Give me my theme music!
That you were right. There is no sound. Testing. 1 2. What is going on? Testing 1 2. Testing. There we go. And we're back. My bad. I don't know what just happened. We're live. You couldn't hear me. What's up, everyone? And welcome into Buffs News Weekly Live. I'm your host, Russ, and welcome to the Friday afternoon show. We've got a lot of stuff to cover, but we will also be going over the season final preview of the few games left from the rest of the week. My bad. Oh, the echo now. Okay. Hold on. I know what's wrong. Gosh, just one of those days, guys. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. How's that, everybody? Is the echo gone? Please let me know now in the chat. I appreciate you guys being here. I love having you guys here. Perfect. I don't know what happened. Right before I came on, now the echo? Oh, perfect. You're good. Keith must be a little delayed. Hopefully we're good now. My apologies, guys. Right before I came on, my computer froze up on itself. The audio went away. I tried to bring it back. Obviously, I didn't bring it back correctly. So we're back and we're live and it's Friday. Hey, it's a Friday, right, everybody? Right, everybody? It's a Friday. Welcome in all of you that are here, all you beautiful people. I see you, buddy, Lady C, Vibes Cartel. We'll just call it Cartel. Keith, of course, being in here in the chat. Appreciate you guys. Cam is here as well. Debbie, hello. How's it going? Appreciate you dropping by from Austin. I have quite a few people I know from Austin. Hope you're having a great Friday afternoon. As Cartel says, please hit that like button while you're in here. Apologies for the technical difficulties. We will get good and get back on track. Unspoken, appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much. As always, and there's Gualo. Scare some people, just say boo. Boo. We're going to, of course, talk about the Boo Carter drama going on, how that affects Colorado, what could possibly happen with that. And like I said, we will also be going through the final 4 games of the schedule if you've been watching all the shows this week. If not, you can go back after this show, watch the other 2, see my previews of the teams we're playing. I have a number of videos coming out in the next several days previewing my most impactful players, my most impactful transfers, the best freshmen on the team. Would love for you guys to watch those videos and, of course, let me know who you think those players should be on those videos. I will happily be commenting in the chat. But for now, let's talk about the initial topic here for the housekeeping. Actually, one other thing. I wanted to bring a correction and say that I was wrong. That's right. Unlike a lot of people out there in social media YouTube land who do not like to admit when they're wrong and just ignore the problem, I am going to let you guys know when I was wrong. I wasn't sure about the Houston game being non-conference like I had said. I reached out to the Buff media team to clarify because I saw several conflicting things across the internet. Wanted to let you know that the Houston game is officially a conference game. It was initially a non-conference game when it was first scheduled. Once the Big 12 became official, Colorado decided just to make it a conference game and sought out another non-conference opponent rather than using Houston as a non-conference game and then playing somebody else. So the Houston game is in fact a conference game, and I do apologize for anybody out there that I said it was not. I was wrong. See how that works? See how that works? If only in this day and age in our society we could be fine with admitting that we were wrong, I think we would have a much better place to live in. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So apologies for me. I was incorrect. I wanted to look it up. I wanted to bring it back to you guys. I was wrong. Okay. Glad to say that. Real quick, Cam, Coach Prime going to have a press conference on Monday. Yeah, he talked about this for quite a while over the last several months. Bucky has said it on several podcasts that when they get back to Boulder and fall camp starts, Coach Prime will address what happened, what was going on medically. The fact that Brian Howell said that he will be meeting with his medical team makes sense because I'm not a doctor. Coach Prime's not a doctor. Sometimes answering the question of like, well, what happened? Are you okay? Will you be okay? Is a little bit different coming from somebody with no medical background versus coming with the people that actually treated you and know what's going on. So he will be meeting with his medical team. I saw people on the post from Brian Howell immediately think that because his medical team is going to be there, that he's somehow retiring as a coach. That is not going to be the case. He would not have come back to campus. He would not have tweeted out that he is fine and good and ready to go. The fact is that this press conference is simply to answer the questions that he's going to get. What happened? Where was he? What was going on? And the biggest question, what does it mean going forward for Coach Prime and his health? That is what's going to be the most talked about thing. And of course, we'll find out more on Monday. So be on the lookout for that. We'll talk about it here on the show Monday afternoon. So make sure you're tuned in as well. I've spent morning catching up with several posts I'd missed. Appreciate you, Debbie. Thank you so much for going back and watching those. Didn't make sense. I knew it was a conference game. Yep. Houston is conference. I started to tell you exactly that. I know, Debbie. You were right. You were right. I was wrong. I can be wrong. We can all be wrong. That's the great part about it. I wonder if Prime got COVID. I mean, we could speculate. We'll find out Monday. I'm not going to speculate until we find out exactly what happened. And then once we know what happened, I definitely think it was something serious because especially from Bucky's kind of cryptic tweets about the time that he spent in Dallas and how he stayed at Coach Prime's house for, the month and a half or so, obviously shows that Bucky was there taking care of Coach Prime. So whatever it was somewhat serious. So we'll find out more on Monday. We can talk about it then. So, of course, the big news coming out of yesterday, videos are popping up left and right, social media posts about it. The news that we briefly touched on Wednesday as it was just kind of slowly percolating was that it looked like Boo Carter might be leaving the Tennessee Volunteers. Now, what that looks like, we don't know. Whether that's actually going to happen, we don't know. Here are the facts of what's been said so far. So, Boo Carter has missed some team activities, supposedly based on insiders at Tennessee. He has met or been met with players from the team who have shown their dissatisfaction with the fact that he is not participating in these things. And then it became known that he was just kind of away from the team entirely. Now it's come out today that he has changed representatives, although the bad part of that story is it looks like he never told his original agent that he was switching agents, and so that did occur. Now, the most recent thing that occurred this afternoon was that Boo Carter's father did tweet out, or I should say replied to somebody, talking about how they don't know what's going on. It's all rumor. It's all conjecture. And that Boo Carter is a Tennessee Volunteer and will be a Tennessee Volunteer. Now, if that's true or not, we don't know. But the fact is, and obviously something is going on at Tennessee when it comes to Boo Carter. Okay? Whether it was towards the end of the season, now in the offseason with him not really being a part of a lot of things, it's very interesting to see what's going on. Now, the question is, could Tennessee move on from Boo Carter? The one thing that kept being brought up, okay, that kept getting brought up by multiple people in the insider realm is that it's not a money issue, similar to quarterback Nico. I can't pronounce the last name as always. So people were seemingly thinking that it's not going to happen, but that's just where it's at. Also, Boo Carter's mom tweeted this afternoon talking about dressing up for the first couple games of the season. I mean, a lot of stuff has come out thinking and seemingly feeling like Boo Carter would be back to Tennessee and is in fact not going to be leaving the program. But things could change if he continues to be a headache for the team. The team could easily just dismiss him. So the question is Boo Carter leaving? We have no idea right now. There is nothing set in concrete stone or anything like that. Now, as for if Boo Carter were to leave Tennessee, would Colorado be a potential fit? Now, CBS, in the reporting of the Boo Carter rumors, did say Colorado would be the team to watch. It all depends on exactly what happened at Tennessee. The fact is, we will probably never find out these behind-the-scenes stories of truly what happened, what was promised, what was given, what wasn't given, all of that stuff. We won't ever know with these players. They're very secretive when it comes to that. They're not just going to air their dirty laundry. And for the benefit of themselves and the team, they don't do that. So we won't ever truly know. Now, if it's found out that it was a mutual thing, if he didn't like his playing time, if he didn't like what was going on with the coaching staff or something entirely different than that, great. If it is a case of money, he's probably not coming to Colorado. That's just the case. He's not going to end up at Colorado if the reason that he's not going to be with Tennessee is a money issue, because Colorado's not just going to throw out a bag for somebody who left the team because he didn't feel like he was paid enough. Now, that is a complete rumor. There is nothing that I can base that off of. I'm just saying if that's the case, I don't see where he's a fit for Colorado. But Boo Carter, as a football player, pure and simple, is a very good football player, and he had a very good freshman year for Tennessee. So anybody out there who would not want Boo Carter on the CU Buffs is not really paying attention and doesn't understand that that would actually be a very good get for Colorado. So that's really where we're at, okay? And so that's what's going on, what's happening. And so there's really nothing to it, okay? Nothing is happening with it. There's nothing official. We can all just kind of move on when it comes to Boo Carter, unless it officially becomes official, i.e. like Retzlaff, where he's been dismissed or left the program and it's confirmed by the team. There's really nothing else to talk about when it comes to that story. So that's where we're at for this. And that's what's kind of going on for Boo. Buddy, I wanted to be the first to tell you were wrong. There was other people that told me I was wrong, and I already admitted it. Would have loved to get him, but oh well. Yeah, I can't pronounce the last name. I can't. I know what his last name is. I just can't pronounce it. That's just where it's at. Colorado doesn't need any troublemakers. I think we have King. I don't know what we're talking about. What are we talking about, North Side? One shouldn't try to fit a square peg in a round hole. If I were Boo, I'd want to leave a little space between Travis and myself. Unicorns are special. If I was Boo, I would have come to Colorado in the first place. I mean, that's where it's at. I could have been at Colorado last year alongside Travis, got to learn next to him, got to start early playing two ways. I mean, if it comes down to it, the Boo Carter is just mad that he isn't playing two ways at Tennessee because they're limiting him, then yeah, great. That's understandable. It makes sense. But that's just where we're at with that whole story. So really, no non-story. I'm not going to put out a whole video on Boo Carter. I'm not going to do a deep dive into him until it's official that he is gone from Tennessee. We're just going to act like business as usual. Now, the player that I would love to have on Colorado that's currently sitting out there, not on a team, would be the potential ex-commit from Colorado. That is King Joseph Edwards from Syracuse. Now, if you want to talk about somebody who is out there looking for a team, I would love to have him on Colorado. And he has interacted with a number of Buffs fans, including myself, on Twitter. So whether or not he is interested in a reunion to come to Colorado, that's one thing. Now, the question is the team actually interested in bringing him in? Maybe not. And that could be why he's still on the sideline trying to figure out what he's going to do for a team next year. So appreciate you guys so much. Still doesn't mean he can't hit the portal after this year. Nope, he definitely can. He definitely can. And if that happens, then, we'll talk about it then. That's exactly why we don't need him. Northside is referencing taking King Joseph from Q's. Okay. Bro, I think we have King. Okay. See, I would love to have King Joseph Edwards. I wanted him out of high school. He had a very good freshman year. I would love to have him. We'll have to see. But it looks like a lot of you think that we're going to be getting King Joseph Edwards. Yep. He's going to commit this week. We'll have to see what happens. All right, Russ, chat coming through, showing everybody some love. I'll catch the replay. Go Buffs. Appreciate you, Sunshine. Everybody in the chat, though, make sure you hit that like button right now. Let's get into it before we end. We're going to talk about the last 4 games of the season. If you've been following along this week with my lives, we've been talking about the opponents of the Buffs and talking about what the Buffs need to look out for and what they need to do to be successful. And I give you a little bit of a preview of what I think will happen with that game. The first game after the break is Arizona State Sun Devils, November 22nd in Boulder this year. Remember, we played Arizona State previously, beat them, even with their better talent and better team. So I'm going to be very interested with this competition. They do have, of course, quarterback Sam Leavitt coming back, who is projected to be one of the better quarterbacks in the conference, right up there with the guys I talked about last stream. So as far as departures go, the big one's going to be Cam Scattaboo, drafted to the NFL, New York Giants, San Francisco Giants. I almost said San Francisco Giants. New York Giants. Multiple wide receivers and linebackers did transfer out of the program, including Corbin Hendricks, Jimond Tapp, Siri Candielli, Keontez Bradley, and others who departed via the transfer portal. But they also brought in a number of players and have a number of players returning. Of course, CU Buffs fans will be very, very familiar with wide receiver Jordan Tyson, who is right now projected to be the best wide receiver in the entire conference. He is a preseason All-American selection for Arizona State, alongside Sam Leavitt, who is also predicted to be one of the best quarterbacks in the conference. They also brought in running back Kanye Udo from Army, a guy that we talked about back during the transfer portal as a potential player to come in for Colorado. He will be expected to replace Cam Scattaboo, but I don't think you can really replace him. Also, wide receivers Jerron Hamilton from Alabama, Noble Johnson from Clemson, and Jalen Moss from Fresno State. Rebuild the Arizona State wide receiver corps. That's going to be something to really pay attention to. And then tight end Kamari Anderson, O-line Xander Ruggeroli from Nebraska, Mykiel Gardner, defensive line Oregon, defensive transfers Kendrick Breedlove, that's right, that Kendrick Breedlove, and Nyland Green, both coming in from Purdue, will reinforce the back end for Arizona State coming in this game. And they also added safety Xavion Alford, who returns after being a first-team All-Big 12 player last year. So Arizona State going to be a good team, will probably be competing for the Big 12 championship. However, the question is, will Kenny Dillingham continue his growth and development of this program? Enters year 3, continuing that up-tempo, balanced offense and opportunistic defense that propelled ASU to the 2024 Big 12 title. The culture emphasizes development and a winning mindset, and we know that ASU has been performing of late. Last year, of course, they were not predicted to be one of the best teams and ended up being the best team in the conference. My guess this year, a lot of people will have them as the top team in the conference, and this is going to be a very difficult battle for Colorado. I like the fact that we're at home. So the key matchups that we're going to have to look out for is without Scattaboo. Can Arizona State's offense depend on a Levitt-Tyson connection and be explosive with their new wide receivers? So going to be a little bit of a different offense unless Udo is a great running back for them. Still expect him to be a little balanced, but I think they could beat Colorado on the back of their quarterback and wide receivers. CU must disrupt that tempo and force turnovers with the new wide receiver core. And then finally, the defensive identity for ASU is largely intact. CU must earn big plays with disciplined execution. Now, in the past when we played ASU, if we could have only controlled the tempo and controlled the clock a little bit better, I think those games would not have been as close as they were. So the question is, can the more balanced Colorado, hoping that they are a more balanced team overall next year, be able to beat Arizona State? Again, the fact that it's at home, again, the fact that it's on the back end of the schedule, hoping that we've got everything kind of figured out by then. I'm going to go ahead and call it now. I think Arizona State is one of our biggest victories of the season. So I have Colorado beating Arizona State to go to, I believe, 7-2 at this point. 7-2, competing for a spot in the Big 12 championship. So let me know what you guys think of Arizona State. Tell me right now in the chat or in the comments below. What do you think the results of the Arizona State game will be? And do you think Colorado is able to come out with a victory against the Sun Devils? Let me know. Okay? Appreciate Timothy dropping by. This is a good point, Northside, if we're talking still about players, King Joseph, Boo Carter. Sometimes it's the environment and the coaches that are just not a good fit for a player. Absolutely perfect. What's up, Rodney? Thank you. I appreciate the comments on the new studio. Worked on it a lot. Glad that we had this. They lost both their scat and their boo. Gearhead, I love it. I love it. Mikey Harrison should come back. He's done nothing at San Diego State with Sean Lewis. Another tight end could add depth. I think that ship has sailed a little bit. I think he was just exactly what we needed at that time when he transitioned from receiver to tight end. Unfortunately, I think that's just who he was. Colorado is much deeper. I think Atkins, I think even Savell Smalls is going to be a pretty good player for us next year. And we've got a lot of tight ends coming into this program going forward. So I think we're going to be okay on the tight end position once we go forward. Running back Kanye, gonna be a problem. The question is, can he be as big of a problem as Scattaboo was? That'll be the big question to be answered this season, but I do believe he is going to be a good running back. I don't think they're going to be lacking in the run game when it comes to Arizona State. Mikey Harrison is with the Broncos now. Oh, so he already graduated. That's nice. I didn't even realize that he had gone with them on like a tryout basis. Just haven't been paying attention to the NFL much lately. Hey, Shirley, appreciate you dropping by today. So again, let me know, guys, in the chat, do you think we will beat Arizona State in week, what is that? Week 8? Yeah, week 8. Is that right? Week 9, 10, 11. No, week 9. Week 9, November 22nd in Boulder. That is the roughly around Thanksgiving game for Arizona State. But I've got Colorado beating Arizona State to go 7-2. Moving on to the next game. This one's going to be a tough one, guys. West Virginia Mountaineers, November 8th. Colorado going to Morgantown. Not an easy place to play. But then the question is, what is West Virginia bringing into the season, and can Colorado be able to solve them? Now, as far as departures go, they lost quite a bit. Linebacker Josiah Trotter, linebacker Trey Lathan, cornerback Aiden Garnes, offensive lineman Thomas Rimek, among many others who exited the program. Now, as far as returners and newcomers, running back Jaheim White returns after 844 rushing yards last season. He's going to be somebody to watch. And wide receiver Cam Vaughn is going to be the player the Buffs have to shut down. He is a Temple transfer, adds a deep threat with a 4.42 speed from Temple. So we've got to shut him down and not allow the deep ball there. Quarterback Jalen Henderson is a Texas A&M transfer, joins West Virginia. We don't know for sure who will be starting at quarterback for West Virginia, but he brings a potential option there. And they had an extensive portal overhaul, as we've been talking about with most of the teams in the Big 12. Seems like the Coach Prime strategy is picking up across college football, but they have 24 plus transfers that they brought into the program. So they are going to be a completely different team than they have in the past. Now, Rich Rodriguez returns for his second stint with West Virginia, bringing familiar spread offense, tempo, and a blitz heavy defense under their new defensive coordinator, Zach Alley. So it's going to be interesting to see what West Virginia looks like. It's almost an entirely new team, so you can't really go off of prior seasons. Now, as far as keys to the victory goes, CU must limit Vaughn's vertical threat and keep the box clear for Henderson's RPOs. With large roster turnover, timing and cohesion may be issues. However, it may be late in the season that will have been solved. But CU needs to force mistakes and turnovers. And finally, blitz discipline and protecting the edge will be crucial for our offensive line. We know what happens when we come up against defenses who are creating creative blitz packages against us. We have struggled in the past, but we have an entirely new offensive line. So the question is, will Colorado be prepared by the time this game rolls around? I am calling this, surprisingly, a Colorado victory. That's right. I am calling a Colorado victory in Morgantown. I'm having this the second best victory of the season, right next to the previous one. Colorado will have quite the momentum going into week 11 after the week 10 game against West Virginia. I have them at 8-2. Very well likely could be ranked at this point, especially after that Arizona State victory. So I have them 8-2 going into week 10. Let me know what you guys think, what you think about that Arizona State matchup, what you think about the West Virginia matchup. Let me know. At this point, I think you would have to go with ASU. That was a tough one for me. I'm calling it an upset almost at that point. What do you think about the new offers and running back, wide receiver, and O-line from Tennessee, who all know Jordan Seaton? I told everybody we're early in the cycle. Relax on the running backs. Relax on the players. We will be getting more and more players. This is probably going to be Coach Prime's biggest recruiting class. We'll see what happens there. Morgantown is such a great vibe for college football. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's up there with Boulder, okay, as far as the scenery, the atmosphere, how cool it is there. I'd still pick Boulder over Morgantown, but Morgantown is up there for college towns and college football stadiums. I think the team is well-oiled and ready to run on the road versus West Virginia. I like it, Stevie. Keith, love the input. The Buffs defensive front seven is going to be real nasty. So much depth. I'm very excited to see what they can do against a team like West Virginia. I'm definitely putting the over on the 6.5 is ridiculous. Yeah, Debbie, I would agree with that. Over all day. I've said that. We are minimum 7 wins. When you really look hard at the schedule and heck, you say ASU is a difficult game. West Virginia is a difficult game. That's fine. I still have them at 7 wins at that point, even if they lose both of those games. So absolutely think that anybody who wants, I would hit the over on the 6.5 victories for CU going forward. West Virginia is going to be a tough game. I think Rich going to have West Virginia ready to play because every game they play is to mess up everyone's season. I would agree with that. Like I said, it's going to be a tough one, especially on the road. But I think that by this point, we'll know who Colorado is. We'll know what type of offense we have. And I think that we'll be clicking on all cylinders heading into this game, especially if we come out victorious against ASU and have that momentum. So I have Colorado getting the victory. Okay. We got Sincere Brown, 6'5", 425 speed, faster than Jimmy Horn. Isaiah, I do believe that Sincere Brown's going to have a very good season and surprise a lot of people. A lot of people outside of Colorado. We know about him. Oh, yeah, they'll be very ready by the time this hard game approaches. Caden Salter will make teams real nervous about blitzing this season. I love that aspect. That's true. If you go watch Caden Salter's tape, the guy is elusive. You blitz, He runs the option or takes off as a quarterback, and you're seeing big-time plays for Colorado. Something they did not get with Shedeur Sanders. Again, nothing against Shedeur Sanders and his ability to scramble and all that. They're two just very different quarterbacks. Rich Rodriguez has the best spread offensive scheme I've ever seen in football. He is very good. Trust me, I love Rich Rodriguez as a coach, and him going back to West Virginia is absolutely perfect. I just can't wait for DeKalon to have a monster season. Then the top running back recruits will want to come play for us, whoever we got. D-Nice loves the Jordan Tyson, DJ McKinney storyline. That's going to be awesome. ASU, KSU, Utah, Georgia Tech, and TCU will be push games for me. The team will get better as the year progresses. And Stevie, I have all of those wins kind of being the toss-ups. Those are the places where I could see it easily flip from a win to a loss or a loss to a win. Those are the games to watch out for. Everything else should be a victory. If they are not, then we've got some problems. Okay? We've got some problems in the season. But I would agree with that. Great analysis there, Stevie. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the second to last game, Week 11. This one's a tough one, guys. Kansas State Wildcats, November 29th in Manhattan, Kansas. That is a huge aspect. Of course, departures for the team. They lost several wide receivers and offensive players who departed through the transfers, but nothing massive. So KSU brings back a lot of what they had last year. A lot of that team coming back that competed for the Big 12 championship, but just wasn't able to get over the hump. The question is, can Avery Johnson take that next step? And of course, can CU buff friend Dylan Edwards take on a bigger role in the running game now that Giddens is gone? Of course, they brought in kick returner Jerron Bradley, who brings a nice contested catch speed wide receiver to the room. Top tight end recruit Lincoln Cure. He is expected to contribute early for the team. And the defense brings back 5 starters who limited opponents to only 5.2 yards per game. That is a lot there. So Kansas State is going to be a very difficult game. Of course, Chris Kleinman prioritizes ball control offense, as we saw last year, and smash mouth defense. Very disciplined, minimize turnovers, and extends drives. Now, if we talk about that Kansas State game, we can talk about it until our faces turn blue. Colorado probably should have been victorious, losing almost your entire wide receiver room for a team during a game. And then on top of that, having the lead with only a few minutes left, and unfortunately the defense giving up that touchdown at the very end. I mean, Colorado should have won that, but again, that was in Boulder as well. So the question is now, going into Manhattan, can Colorado come out victorious? The keys to this matchup: CU must pressure Avery Johnson while playing disciplined secondary coverage. K-State will lean on their defense and possession just like they did last year. Let's be honest, they did. The running game was really what killed us that whole entire game. And then, of course, they were able to just slow down our offense good enough that we weren't able to be very explosive. Edge disruption and turnover creation can swing the possession football style in CU's favor. So what can the trenches do to stop the run, stop the slower possession game, and can we get turnovers from Avery Johnson? That is the question for this game. Unfortunately, I'm going to have this game be a loss for Colorado. Going on the road to Manhattan, what happened last year, what Kansas State brought back, and what they have going on. I'm going to have this as a very difficult game for Colorado to win. I have them losing to go to 8-3 going into the last game of the season. And I think it's going to be very similar to last year, where some things are going to have to fall CU's way in order to get into the Big 12 championship game. But heading into the last week of the season, the Buffs will have a chance to get a spot in the Big 12 championship, because again, I think 9 to 10 wins gets you in, and Colorado will have a chance going into the last game of the season. Let me know what you guys think as far as the Kansas State game goes in the chat. Let's go through what you guys are thinking. K-State, the rematch in Manhattan, end of the year, gonna be a hell of a matchup. Absolutely, I would agree on that. That looks really good. I hope Case Salter got better this offseason, because his career in draft placement is on the line. Absolutely, that's why he came to Colorado, to be in the spotlight and to show what he can do. Man, Avery Johnson still can't throw the ball. Yeah. It's going to be a possession game. We've got to get them throwing the ball, and we've got to get some turnovers. If CU beats Kansas State and ASU, Kansas State is probably their biggest win since it was at KSU. Yes, Cam, I would agree, but like I said, I had them losing. That's why I have ASU this season being the biggest victory for them. Will KSU fake injuries like last year? That's the question. We will have to see. K-State brought running back from Nebraska, that Shiloh armed. Buffs defense gets its revenge. No 100 missed tackles this time. Yep, no Shiloh Sanders game, who just had a very bad game against Kansas State. Hey, Rush, you heard about Iowa State? They're in financial hell right now. I did not, but that does not surprise me, if we're being completely honest. Losing Travis and Omari in this game hurt. You got to remember, we didn't just lose them either. We lost other wide receivers as well. If I remember correctly, did we also lose? We didn't have Jimmy Horn that game. And I could have sworn that maybe Draylon was running into some kind of issue that game. I can't remember, but I just know like that entire wide receiver room got decimated in that game. And that definitely did not help. This game, our safety going to have to show up big. I think no team are going to reach 10 this season. Northside, that's why I say 9 or 10 gets you in for sure. Colorado beat the brakes off K-State. Wait and see, says Isaiah. Okay, love it, love it. Here we go. Revenge game for Omarion. I mean, he was going off against Kansas State. Omarion was set to have a career day before the hip tackle ruined his season. Big Mike has CU over K-State. Watch Omarion have a huge game against K-State. Putting belt to ass on K-State. We have Jordan O, and he got hurt too. Okay, see what I mean? Lost Timmons. Timmons too. I mean, we lost everybody in that wide receiver room that day. Like, we seriously lost every wide receiver that day. The fact that that game was even close shows that we were a better team. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what K-State fans say. I don't care what non-CU fans say. If you watch that game, everything that could have gone wrong for CU went wrong. And yet Colorado still almost pulled it out. So Colorado still almost pulled it out when everything was said and done. So there you go. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and jump to the final game of the season with potentially a berth in the Big 12 championship. And if I'm going to be honest, guys, I think this is going to be very similar to Oklahoma State last year. We play the Arizona Wildcats in the final regular season game of the season at home. Key departures, of course. They lost out on McMillan. They lost out on their quarterback. They've lost out on so much. Also, wide receivers Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. They left via the transfer portal. No major other data from departures, of course, except for the ones that got drafted in the NFL. So that is going to be very interesting to see how they replace that. And to be honest, they did not do a good job of doing that. If anything, by this point, they very well could have a interim head coach or no head coach at all going into this game. I have a feeling Arizona is going to have a bad season overall. And the fact that we get to play them in the last week is very beneficial to Colorado. Coming back, of course, secondary leader Genesis Smith returns strong, central to coverage scheme, and quarterback Rocco Becht, who was brought in to project as the starting quarterback, will lead the passing offense. Running back room has some portal reinforcements gearing up for a resurgence. But overall, Arizona, not the best going into this game, which is why I truly do believe this is going to be a repeat of that Oklahoma State game last year. Jed Fish, coach for Arizona, runs ballast spread offense, complemented by a physical turnover hunting defense. CU must avoid giving Arizona short field turnovers. Arizona's wide receiver depth is very thin, so CU's defense must dominate in coverage, which I think they will. And the offensive tempo matchup, CU can control the pace. If we are a balanced team, this is going to be a game over situation for Arizona. They're going to stand no chance in this game. I have Colorado running away from this game, guys. Absolutely running away with this game for Colorado. Ending the season at 9-3 yet again. I think we matched that, which, by the way, I think would be huge for recruiting because a lot of players will see the consistency even after losing Shador, even after losing Travis Hunter. The fact that we get the same, record goes to show that Colorado as a team is stronger. Now, if we can get some big time players into this program, like Shedeur was, like Travis Hunter was, add that to an already deep football team that is slowly developing and getting better each and every year, and Colorado will be one of the teams to beat in the Big 12 for years to come. Of course, that all started with Julian Lewis joining the program, so the quarterback position is set for the future, but what can we do in the recruiting trail to get some more big-time players? And I think if Colorado ends the season 9-3 with a chance to go to the Big 12 championship again, I think we will see a number of recruiting flips and wins for Colorado heading into the offseason once again. Let me know what you guys think. Who do you think is going to win in this Arizona game? What do you think the final record for Colorado will be? Drop it in the comments and I will read it. We can go over that now. Okay. Stevie says, so we're looking at 9-3 right now. I can live with that. Yeah, I can too. I was screaming, put me in, coach, during the KSU game because I played wide receiver. Kansas State running back tight end going to have the biggest focal points in this game. Zona about to get the breaks beat straight off them. Love it. Isaiah says 10-2 season for Colorado. That's very good. Very good. I mean, we're one off from where that is. Let me see how this O-line gels and my numbers might change. Obviously, I mean, we have a lot of question marks, guys, going on the season. It's not like last year where we knew what Shedeur was. We knew what Travis was. Like, we have an idea who Caden Salter is, and if he doesn't pan out, we know who Julian Lewis is, but we don't know what the offensive line is going to look like. Can we have a true Power 4 offensive line going into next season? Possibly. And if we do, look out. Yes, 10-2, very doable. But the question's going to be, are we a more balanced team? Which running back steps up? Do the receivers live up to the hype? And can Rob Livingston's defense continue to develop and be a dominant force for this team? So many question marks, so this will change throughout the season for sure. Colorado lost a lot of their starters last year, and they still almost beat KSU. Exactly. Kush, you get it. Should be a homecoming game. I mean, why did Oscar Rios go to Arizona instead of CU when they may not have a head coach by the end of the season? Because of Julian Lewis. I said this every time. We're not going to get a high-ranked recruit at quarterback for at least another year. We'll go for them and try and get them, but at minimum, you usually see you skip a term. You skip a term when it comes to quarterbacks. So really, a 2026 quarterback was not that important when we have Julian Lewis. 2027, that's another story. We'll probably go hard after another quarterback by then. I don't know. Arizona might be a scary team. They did great in the portal. I just don't see it. Kush has got 11-1 for Colorado. So you have us losing to TCU, Kansas State, and Iowa State. Yep. Yes. Those are the three losses. Correct. D-Nice, TCU, Kansas State, and Iowa State are the three losses that I have for Colorado right now going into the season. So remember that. I think Pat not going to be OC mid-season. If that happens, Northside, things are a lot worse than we think. Because that's not going to be a good thing. You don't switch OCs mid-season unless everything is going poorly. I thought K-State was the last game of the season. Did I mess that up too? Am I not looking at the schedule correctly? You're right. I flipped a couple, guys. I got my dates wrong. Hold on. This is what I get, you know? When you Google stuff, there's so many things out there you got to double check. Let me double check. I'll correct it. Stuff still stands, though. My record still stands. Okay, yes. So we flipped. So Arizona's the first game out of the break, then West Virginia, then Arizona State, then Kansas State. So I would have win, loss to end the season. So a win at home against Arizona, a loss on the road to West Virginia, a win at home against Arizona State, and a loss against Kansas State. Although, with Kansas State being the last game of the season, guys, I have a feeling both teams will be playing for the Big 12 championship. Whoever wins that game will get a spot in the Big 12 championship. That's what I'm going to call right now. I'm going to call that right now. So apologies, schedule off. Goes Arizona, West Virginia, Colorado, K-State. Arizona, November 1st. West Virginia, November 8th, Arizona State, November 22nd, and Kansas State, November 29th. Even if it doesn't pan out, I think we'll be all right with Shermer. He will have it right this year. I agree with that. Hood leaves CU to start at Tennessee, and Boo Carter leaves Tennessee to start at CU. I'd take that trade. ATG, I'd take that trade. Big Mike, 11-1. Northside has got us 10-2. Let me know who your losses are, by the way. Big Mike, let me know who we have losing to. Northside, same thing. Yep, last game of the season, we get that. Keith's got CU 10-2. If CU has a decent running game this year, CU is going to be deadly force. Yes, Cam. If we are balanced, we are going to be just fine. Just fine. Coach Prime has never digressed when it comes to record. There is a point where you do hit a ceiling when it comes to that. I just don't think that we're going to go back to like 4 or 5 wins. So the 6.5 over and under, I think you nail the over on that. I love it, Roberto. I feel a K-State upset. I can see that. I'll say 8-4 minimum. We're making another bowl. I know that for sure. Gualo, I like that. Like I said, I think at minimum, worst case scenario, 7 wins. And I think that's still a decent season. I don't care what anybody says. If you're retooling with a new team, 7 wins and getting that bowl game and maybe winning a bowl game this time would go a long way with recruits. We just can't take a step back and get 5 or less wins. We absolutely cannot. Yeah. I think we beat TCU year 1. We beat them, and we're a way better team now. They're also a better team, though, now, too, Kush. That's why I had them losing. I think our defense is going to keep us in games way more than we think. Oh, it's not even way more, Stevie. We're going to win off the back of our defense. But the offense is going to be there to complement it very nicely this year. Viral Authority, anybody wondering if we will run the ball this year needs to look up Marshall Faulk. He played the brilliant Mike Martz St. Louis. I'm sure there's plenty of packages we'll use. You don't bring in Marshall Faulk unless you're going to run the ball. Marshall Faulk would not be a good running backs coach if he came in and we didn't run the ball. That would be bad on him. Trust me, he had a conversation with them before he joined the staff. If CU goes undefeated, I might cry. Cam, if they go undefeated, that's the one. If they go undefeated, I'll do something. Okay? I'll donate money to the program, extra, something. That's where I would be like freaking out. Roberto's got us picking Johnson at least twice. Soldier has us 8-4. I like it. I think the run game for CU is going to determine a lot of our record. We'll find out the first couple weeks, but not the first game. Remember what I said with my preview for the Georgia Tech game? Georgia Tech is going to hone in on our run game. We will have to beat them with the pass anyway. This team is way put together and way too focused to go under 8 wins. My loss is West Virginia and Iowa State. Like it, Northside. That and the offensive game plan. The defense still needs to be lit. We're going to miss D-Lou and Dancy, the intensity and fire they lit under them dudes on the sideline. I don't know if Pecco can match. But we've got George Hilo. I'm not worried. Between Sap, Hilo, I think we're good. I think we're good, guys. I really do. 12-0 would break college football. It would be ridiculous. Gualo, 100K from me. We go undefeated. I'm holding you to this. This is getting clipped now, Gualo. Everybody remember that. 100K from Gualo if we go undefeated. Keith, you got your 2 losses, Georgia Tech and Arizona State. I like both of those. That makes sense. I think that intensity will not be short at all this year, for sure. For sure, there will not be a shortage of intensity. Okay, guys, so I have Colorado going 9-3 yet again. I had them at 9-3 last year. I was almost on to the T. I got almost every game right last year. I am an objective thinker when it comes to this. I'm not going to be a fanboy and say they go undefeated or whatnot. I do think there are some games that could go either way that we talked about. I think there are a number of games like that. It's going to come down to what type of team does Colorado bring? What do injuries look like across the board, both for the Buffs and their opponents? And overall, just what happens on this team? We have so many question marks. So it's going to be interesting going into fall camp, what could potentially happen. We'll have to pay attention, of course, to fall camp. Remember, Monday, we will be doing our normal afternoon show. I will be talking about what Coach Prime talks about in his press conference. And of course, the first day of training camp is Monday. So make sure you're tuned in. For now, hey, go ahead and put any questions in the chat. I'll be taking questions here for the last couple minutes before we move on. And again, commenting on what you guys have to say. Isaiah, this will be a breakout season for Cam Michael. He will be on fire. By the way, tomorrow I have a video dropping in the morning talking about my top 5 breakout buffs. Make sure you tune into that. It's only about 6-7 minutes long, so it's a short video. Just threw it out there to give you guys my top 5. Feel free to comment on that video to let me know your top 5 or any players that I missed that you think will break out and why. So I would love to hear from you guys tomorrow on that. So Isaiah, look out for that and make sure you comment. Cam Michael is going to have a breakout for sure. If Prime goes undefeated, Meagham's going to lose their ish. If we start the season 5-0 Northside, they're going to lose it. Okay? If we go 5-0 to start the season and do beat Georgia Tech, they are going to lose it again on Colorado. CU recruiting would go nuts. Absolutely. Debbie's got 9-4 with a bowl game win. I love that, Debbie. I love that. Who would lead in rushing yards? I'm calling it right now. I mean, it's kind of cheating. If the question is who in the running back room is going to lead our rushers, I'm going to go with Michael Welsh. I think he's going to have a breakout performance. However, as far as leading rusher for the team, I'm going to go with Caden Salter. I'm going to say that Caden Salter is going to lead the way when it comes to running for this team. Travis allowed 1 touchdown on defense in practice today. It's not bad. Caden Salter been getting a lot of that work with Quentin Gibson. Yep, they're working together. I love the leadership that Caden Salter is showing, and I love what Quentin Gibson is giving. I don't know if Quentin Gibson's going to have a breakout year his first year, but look out because that kid is going places. Okay. It may not be in that first year. He may need to redshirt this year, but I think redshirting would benefit him greatly. Let him just develop his body a little bit more, get a little bit bigger, be ready to go. And man, is he going to be one of the best wide receivers in the country when he's ready to go. After the game, DeKalon Taylor will lead the way. I love it. That's fine. Who should play nickel? Because we have about 5 players that could play that position. Northside, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to wait until training camp to really see what happened. I see Welsh as a short yardage goal line type. Do you have DeKalon Taylor or Dallin for me? And that makes sense. That really does make sense. I get it. I think Mike is going to have a breakout because the key for him was he just didn't go down easy. I think if he had played the whole season, things would have been a lot different. And so I'm hoping that he stays healthy this year, and I hope that, he can really perform. Can really perform for Colorado. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it for the day. I appreciate you guys so much for joining me. Hey, before you guys go, hit that like button for me, of course. Subscribe. I know I asked for it a lot, but it's just a quick reminder. It does help the channel a ton. And big shout out to D Nice and, of course, David Talks Buffs for being members of the channel. I appreciate you guys so much. Real quick, Robert, what position do you want to see me improve this year for Colorado? Running back. 100% of the time. 100% of the time, running back. I want to see us run the ball and run the ball well this year. I want to be able to know that we can run the ball, especially in short yardage situations. So that's where I'm at. Appreciate you, Robert. So that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, for Buffs News Weekly Live, I'm Russ. And until next time, Sko Buffs.